Yo guys, I'm going to review a video called What I Eat for Gut Health, 5 Vegan Recipes.
Hola there my friends, welcome to this 5 gut health recipe video. If you're new here, what is up? My name is Julia and I'm all about intuitive eating and living. We're gonna kick off this
Intuitive eating, she follows her intuition. Very good, we'll see.
Video with a delicious quinoa and tofu scramble, and first things first is we're going to mince up a decent amount of ginger. Ginger is fantastic for your digestive system and it also adds a lot of flavor to things as well.
Ginger is toxic and it's an antibiotic. What is she talking about?
Also chopped up some red pepper and some celery too, and we're going to throw that into the pan along with some oil.
Okay, the good thing is that she cooks the stuff, which means that she's neutralizing, destroying some of the toxins.
Let that saute for a couple minutes and then crumble in a half a block of tofu. I always like to use my hands for this, but I know some people don't really like to get their hands in their food. No judgment whatsoever. You can use a fork or a masher. We're going to add some flavor to the mixture with a couple teaspoons worth of tamari, a teaspoon worth of miso, a teaspoon worth of turmeric, and some black pepper as well. And then we're going to throw in some
Black pepper, turmeric, also very, very bad for your gut, and all of this stuff can actually burn holes in your gut. How is that good for your gut health?
quinoa. I cooked up a cup of quinoa.
Is a healthy gut full of holes? Leaky gut?
But only used about half of it into the mixture, just because I like to have extras in my fridge hanging out at all times, but feel free to only cook up half of a cup of quinoa and throw it all in there. After I let that saute for 5 to 7 minutes, I threw in half of a cup of kimchi and then reduced the heat and let that hang out for a few minutes while I was massaging up some kale. So in my bowl, I got a decent amount of kale along with some...
This is one of the worst things in general that I could imagine eating, but for your gut, as she says, for your gut health, right? What I eat for my gut health. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Kale is one of the worst things you could possibly eat. Sheep that were fed kale actually got seriously sick from it and died, which is why they stopped. And now you tell humans to eat it along with ginger, turmeric, things which are extremely toxic to the human body. What is this?
Lemon juice and some salt as well. There's no exact measurement, but the reason that we're doing this is to just help your digestive system break down the kale a little bit better, just because kale is so fibrous and really hard for the body to break down fully.
It's not as if you can digest kale fully. You can basically not digest it at all.
We got that massaged up. We are ready to plate our tofu and quinoa scramble. To me, this dish is an amazing way to start the day because
she makes tofu scramble. What is tofu scramble? It is a dish that vegans make because they crave eggs. Egg scramble. Absolutely, there's no denying that. But at the same time, she calls it intuitive eating, even though she's completely ignoring her intuition.
We got lots of protein, we got our greens from our kale, and a good kick of probiotics from our kimchi as well.
Not probiotics, technically you could say prebiotics, but kimchi is made with so many toxins, such as the ginger, for example, which is quite often used in kimchi, that is actually, again, an antibiotic. It doesn't make any sense at all to say that you should eat this for gut health. Also, it has tofu, which has phytoestrogens. So not only are you destroying your gut health, you're actually also destroying your hormonal health. As a woman and as a guy, it works differently, but what it does for a woman is that it blocks the use of real estrogen because it blocks the cell receptors.
Feel free to add half of an avocado to this for a good amount of fat. Top it off with some green onions or some cilantro. Have fun with it and make it your own. Moving on to our super green matcha mango smoothie. This one is a good kick of greens, a good kick of probiotics, and such an...
Is it even more kale? This girl, she's crazy.
Easy one to throw together. So I got a banana in here along with a couple of cups worth of...
As you can see at the bottom, a lot of sweet stuff and then the green stuff, which no human on earth wants to consume. Of course, on top of it, because you want to mix it up. Why? Because it tastes terrible. Everybody knows that. So you use really sweet stuff to try to cover up the taste of these horrible, man-made, unnatural, toxic greens.
Frozen mango, 2 stalks worth of kale, a cup worth of spinach, a third a cup worth of coconut kefir. Still don't know how to say that word right. I just honestly have not taken the time to learn, even though so many of you guys have tried to help me. I got a cup worth of water, a good teaspoon worth of matcha powder, some turmeric powder, and a good pinch of black pepper. We're then going to blend that all up.
In what universe do you live where this is considered to be good for your gut? I just don't understand it at all. There's just no logic to it. None of the ingredients are in any way good for gut health. Really, really.
Until it's completely smooth and combined. This may take a couple minutes simply because the kale...
If somebody wanted to make a prank video and destroy somebody's gut health, then this would be the perfect video. She's telling everybody to eat things that will most definitely destroy their gut, burn holes, destroy the microbiome.
Is so fibrous, but give it your time and attention and she'll be...
Look, it's the same color as the green leaves. That says everything.
And delicious. Feel free to add a protein powder.
This video is just...
So choose, whether that's a plain or a vanilla one.
I can't watch
delicious.
it.
However, it's definitely not needed, and I would recommend only enjoying this in the morning or the afternoon, just because the matcha may keep you up at night if you enjoy this later. And because we've all got matcha on our minds now, let me just say thank you to Matcha.com for sponsoring today's video. I've been on a little bit of a matcha kick recently, and...
Yeah, whatever. I know what you gotta say. Matcha is simply a green powder made from toxic green leaves. It's a more expensive form of green tea.
You should be too. To me, matcha is just so much easier on the gut than coffee, and it doesn't give me a crash a couple hours later either. It is high in antioxidants and has so many other benefits to it, so it fits
Plants don't have antioxidants.
perfectly into a balanced
They do,
lifestyle.
as such, but
Dr.
not for
Andrew
humans.
Weil- I love your stuff so much. Alright, so let's whip up these quinoa and cauliflower Maki rolls. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using rice in your Maki rolls. However, I find this recipe gives you that extra dose of 9 amino acids and an extra dose of veggies as well from the cauliflower. So that makes your gut and your body
Cauliflower is a flower, it's not a vegetable as such.
very happy. We're going to grate and or finely chop up half of a cauliflower, throw that into a pot along with half of a cup of quinoa, a cup of water, a tablespoon worth of tamari, and a couple tablespoons worth of rice vinegar, and a teaspoon worth of ginger powder. You can also grate up an inch of ginger as well.
Everything just to imitate savory animal foods.
I meant to do some avocado and some mango as well in this, but my brain just completely slipped away from it, and I'm just going to add it on top at the end. You'll see what I mean in a hot minute. So after my quinoa and cauliflower was done cooking, I actually took it out of the pot and put it into a wide bowl to let it cool down.
This is so incredibly much work.
For about 10 minutes or so before wrapping it up in my sushi rolls.
What these vegans do just to try to imitate animal foods.
That way it didn't like wilt my veggies and make
The
it all
length
weird and
you
gross.
go to.
I then just tightly rolled up using my hands, my quinoa and cauliflower mixture along with my veggies in a nori sheet. Absolutely love seaweed, your gut loves seaweed, and I suggest making your own
Your gut loves seaweed, your gut can't digest seaweed.
sushi rolls, Maki rolls at home every once in a while, just because it's super fun and a creative thing to do too. We're going to make a...
No, it's because you want sushi, you want raw fish. That's completely obvious. If you can't accept it, you're completely living in denial.
Sauce for our Maki rolls. So I'm adding a tablespoon worth of almond butter along with a tablespoon worth of tamari, a tablespoon worth of rice vinegar, and a tablespoon worth of maple syrup. Sriracha to taste or no sriracha at all, that is totally up to you. Some people's guts really don't like spice, so do what works best for you. But I find my gut doesn't really mind it in small quantities and or large quantities because I'm low.
In small quantities, you may not notice it as much. The higher the quantity, the more you will notice it because spices are an antibiotic. Recommending eating anything spicy in a video about gut health is absolutely ridiculous. If you want to heal your gut, you gotta eat very soothing food, which means that it should be food that is not toxic in any way at all. It cannot be anything that you cannot eat in large quantities. It should be stuff like bone marrow, which is very soothing, all of the good raw fat, any kind of raw meat.
On top of my sushi rolls, Maki rolls.
Turmeric soup.
Our guts love a good soup every once in a while, so of course I
Just
had
like,
to include one into
where do
this
you get these
recipe video.
ideas?
So I chopped up a small to medium-sized sweet potato, along with a decent amount of celery, onion, carrot, and some leek. The leek is optional. I just had it hanging out in the fridge and thought more veggies the better, and it adds more flavor too. I also minced up a couple cloves of garlic, threw that into my big old pot for 3 to 5 minutes, added half of a teaspoon worth of salt.
Onions, garlic, antibiotics again. At least she cooks.
And then sauteed it again for 8 to 10 more minutes. Not again, I just continued to saute it. After that, I threw in a couple cups worth of veggie stock, along with a couple cups worth of water, our sweet potato, some fresh parsley, some turmeric, a little bit of chili flakes, some bay leaves, and a good tablespoon worth of miso paste as well. Do not worry, all of these recipes will be down in the description box for you too, so you don't have to keep up or write faster than your hand can move. After about 12 to 15 minutes, I added some oat milk, some spinach, and some split red lentils, let that hang out for 5 to 7 more minutes, and then served her up.
This is so disgusting. It's one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen. You couldn't pay me anything to eat that. Because I know that I would be destroying my gut big time.
Along with a good
and it's just disgusting. It looks like it tastes disgusting. It must. How can it not?
Extra oat milk as well. Feel free to add no oat milk whatsoever to this recipe.
She wants to imitate a creamy soup.
Maybe you actually want to add some coconut milk to it instead. That is totally up to you.
Really, really terrible. Really, really looks like puke.
I love a good stir fry, and I hope you love a good stir fry too.
Tempeh, more phytoestrogens. Those kind of foods, just tofu and tempeh, have a lot of phytoestrogens.
Actually, one with shiitake mushrooms, because our guts love a variety of vegetables and fungi, and a good protein source like tempeh too. So that's what we're doing.
Your gut loves fungi. What is this based on? What is anything that you say based on?
And then we're going to mince up some ginger and some garlic as well. Of course, we need those things in a stir fry, in my opinion anyways. So once we got that all ready to go, we're going to heat up a pan on medium heat, add a tablespoon worth of toasted sesame oil, along with our onion, ginger, garlic, and shiitake mushrooms until they get nice and browned and super fragrant. We're going to add our tempeh along with a dash of water, the rest of our vegetables, stir that up and let...
It's incredibly big portions. I don't know for how many people she's cooking, but that much fiber would be so bad for the gut. It would be... I wouldn't be able to take it at all.
Let it hang out for 6 to 9 minutes with the lid on. We cooked up some quinoa in the meantime, and once both are ready to go, we're going to plate it on up along with some green onions, totally optional, and some sesame seeds, which again are totally optional.
Quinoa is nothing, just carbs, fiber, and anti-nutrients. That's also just fiber.
Optional, but I find a stir fry needs those things.
It's just funny because it's really some of the worst meals I've ever seen in my whole life.
It's on top. Feel free to add some
really?
cilantro or whatever variety of veggies you deem delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and got some value out of it. If you try any of these gut healing recipes, let me know down in the comments because I would love to know. I hope to see you again so very soon, and I'm sending you so much love, my friends. Mwah!
This girl is fucking funny. Yeah. This video is a joke. I can't see it as anything else. It's really, like I said, this is something that you would recommend to somebody as a really bad joke if you would want to really hurt somebody. Everything that she was showing is something that you should never eat if you have any kind of gut problems. You're completely gonna destroy your gut microbiome. That's a given. It's completely done. If you follow this, even for a few weeks, you're probably done, and it's gonna be just as bad as going on many rounds of antibiotics. I really mean it. It was really horrible. Also, that much fiber for the gut, you're gonna be bloated. It's actually gonna hurt. You're probably gonna get stomach cramps. Also, when you're gonna go on the toilet afterwards, don't even get me started. This is just a really irresponsible and dangerous video. I don't know what kind of research she did to come to these kind of conclusions, if she did any at all. There's a lot of anti-nutrients in the so-called foods that she presented. Tannins, for example, which will actually sort of glue up the intestines so that you won't be able to absorb any more nutrients in the future if you do it for long enough, which most people do. And if you follow a vegan diet, it's inevitable. Plants in general don't have over 15 micronutrients, so she's also promoting malnutrition. Really? I don't even know if this video could get any worse. Thanks for watching.